First on the chopping block are these honeypot ants. These things look like they were specially packaged by Mother Nature for us to consume. I can see myself popping like 30, 40 easily per episode of Jujutsu Kaisen or Demon Slayer. They even somehow have the same symbols we use for honey. Nature really said, hey, you, come here, eat this. Lo and behold, indigenous Australians actually do eat these honey bugs. They've been known to treat sore throats. Add them in some ginger tea and it's all over for my strep throat. Seriously, what was nature thinking with this one? It looks extremely edible, perhaps a little high on the calories. Definitely won't help you on a cut. I'm surprised these haven't shown up as an ingredient in MasterChef as a mystery box challenge. Personally, if I was cooking with the honeypot ant, I would use it as a sweetener for my arugula salad with balsamic vinaigrette. Instead of using honey, I'll just squeeze over a few honeypot ants and call it a day. Probably delicious on some fresh pancakes and waffles as well. I can also see them being served in a 5-star Michelin restaurant 30 years from now when eating insects becomes more of a norm. If you have some disposable income, I'd set some aside to invest in a honeypot farming company so you can sell wholesale to Gordon Ramsay. Delicious. Would definitely also make a killing at the movie theater. Spoonfuls of popcorn and honeypot. Kind of like the caramel popcorn puffs. Yum yum yum. After breakfast, we're moving straight onto lunch with the armadillo. Asians love taking things out of their shells, stir frying it up and putting it back into its shell just to flex on it as an apex predator. It's just such a satisfying thing to do to show all the other animals that we have transcended to the top of the food pyramid. I can definitely see myself walking around Hawaii with this thing in my hand and a pina colada. They're way too cute to eat though. And just as a disclaimer, I'm actually an ecologist with a bachelor's of science in ecosystem restoration, so I'd be pretty concerned with the population decrease of this animal and it becoming a conservation concern because armadillos are slow to wife up and do not reproduce fast enough as they give birth maybe around every 8 months. That's almost like a human. The babies might be extra tender though. Maybe at the night market you can get a full-size armadillo for $18.99, either Sichuan spice flavor or Japanese okonomiyaki style, or maybe black pepper stir fry. But for $9.99, you can get a armadillo mini bowl. I'd imagine Mexican burrito bowls from Chipotle would go crazy for them as well. Can I get a armadillo bowl with extra armadillo and guac? They better not cheap out on the armadillo meat. I want 2 scoops. Delicious. After that savory main course, we're moving on to dessert. And I gotta say, unfortunately, this next animal on the chopping block might not be for everyone. With a face only its mother could love, and perhaps myself would love to eat. We have the deep sea blobfish. Let me make a case before you make your judgment about my choice. This otherwise normal looking fish, when taken all the way up through 4,000 feet of water, its physiology completely changes. It becomes this gelatinous mochi looking dessert pudding. Looks chewy and perhaps has a neutral flavor now that it's all gooey. You can dress it up however you want. Add some green tea matcha powder perhaps. Maybe some syrup and condensed milk. Yum yum yum. Some bubble tea and pearls. It really reminds me of that clear dessert that takes on whichever flavorings you so desire. This is like the most QQ thing out there. I'm surprised Taiwan hasn't started selling these yet, to be honest. Next up on our delicious omakase menu is the fire urchin. Hailing from the waters extending from Africa all the way to Australia and the coast of Hawaii. The fire urchin is highly venomous, but not poisonous, which is good for me to eat. If you step on one though, by accident, you will be in a world of pain. But the venom is stored in its spines, not in the uni, the gonads. Actually, I'm not sure if the uni itself is poisonous or edible. I tried to search it up, but no one's ever tried to eat one. But some people really like that thrill, you know? Like people who eat fugu fish. That fish, if not cut properly by a chef with the correct training, can kill you pretty easily. I would imagine fire urchins would open a whole new sphere of job opportunities for Japan, with fire urchin senseis with decades of training and experience teaching and allowing their most talented fire urchin pupils to prepare the uni for high-paying customers. Nature gave us this naturally spicy seafood and a bowl to drink the soup out of. Imagine saying this fire urchin tastes fire. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, here is a bonus animal before we get to our last unusual animal I would like to eat. I won't say it, but I'll just leave you with this. And this. And maybe this. If you're still not hungry at this point or craving some fried chicken, then something is wrong with you. Now the last animal on the chopping block is an animal I wanted to eat ever since I was 14. And I really mean it this time. I really want to eat this one. No joke. One day I will put this unfortunate animal into my mouth and enjoy it to the fullest. It is none other than the witchetty grub. Now before you say anything, I bet I'll be able to convince you to eat this by the end of the video, so stay tuned. I was first exposed to this delicious specimen when watching one of my favorite shows as a child, Survivor Man with Les Stroud. It's pretty much like Bear Grylls, without staying at hotels overnight. Survivor Man was doing this episode in the Australian outback, but he wasn't just surviving, no. That man was thriving in the Australian outback, like it was Outback Steakhouse. Bro was grilling up anything and everything and making it look absolutely fantastic. So he chops up some wood like real men do, and he fishes out these absolutely ginormous grubs like the one you see in Lion King. He puts it over his elephant dung fire, something I could do without. I think I would use propane personally. But he crisps this witchetty grub up like no tomorrow. This thing becomes crispier than a French fry. Listen to this. This was the first ASMR mukbang. This was where ASMR mukbang originated. This man was always 2 steps ahead. Make sure to like and subscribe if that crunch made you, even for a split second. Consider giving this grub a shot. And the way he describes how it tastes.
This is tasty.
I trust this man with my life, and I definitely trust his taste in worms. It just reminds me of the tastiest and crunchiest sausage ever grilled. Let me know which unusual animal you would like to eat and comment below. I'll see you guys in the comment section and see you guys in the next one.